Hello, Ken Charles. I hope you're having a great evening. Today, on the Kenny Show, we will discuss the movie Showgirls, which is considered a cult classic, and how the main character in the film, Naomi, fits the profile for psychopathy. Yes, Showgirls, in my opinion, is actually a movie about a psychopathic person that's very attractive and that strips. And in this episode, we will discuss it. Stay tuned. Recently, I watched the Showgirls movie. It's known to be a cult classic film. Many people love it, some people hate it. It's like one of those movies that they say is so bad that you can love it. Instant campy cult classic, right? Well, while watching this movie, I realized that the main character has psychopathy, basically. And I believe one of the undercurrent themes within the whole movie is how a lady with psychopathy or a person with psychopathy cannot just get along to get along, basically, and will not be compliant, will not be docile, but would in fact always spark conflict because they refuse to be undermined or submit to the power structure at hand, even for benefits and even to benefit other people around them. And one of the things that made me realize the theme of psychopathy within the Showgirls movie is how it begins and ends, basically. It starts with this lady leaving someplace, and it ends with this lady leaving this place. Basically showing that this lady, this person, Naomi, has no deep emotional attachments, have no ties or nothing, and is a vagrant, a wandering person, not anchored down by anything. Kind of like that movie, The Chainsaw Massacre, basically. Remember the first scene of the Chainsaw Massacre movie, the old classic one? They picked up a hitchhiker, which basically represents what the authorities or what the establishment sees as psychopaths, basically. People with no deep attachments to anything. People that just wander. They're not attached to the lives of their family. They're not attached to the lives of other people. They're not attached to jobs. They're not attached to even gaining prosperity. They're just attached to nothing, basically. And then during the movie, there's other scenes that shows you how deep the character Naomi's psychopathy really is, in a sense. She's able to lose her jobs, risk losing opportunities, and even risk losing financial and economic security at her impulsive whims, basically. You make her upset, she'll destroy everything and leave. She'll run out the room. She'll throw juice on people, throw water on people, spit in people's face. You know what I'm saying? Like, when somebody upsets her, she doesn't rely on the authorities to bring justice to the situation. Instead, she goes dressed like a leopard or tiger print and kicks a guy in his nuts and beats him up. This is all psychopath stuff. The whole movie basically is about a psychopathic lady. And I'm surprised that most people haven't touched on this subject because it's super obvious They have her wearing a lot of tiger print and leopard print, symbolic of the psychopathic person's predatory nature and intent. One of the key pivotal moments in the film that helps even a friend of Naomi in this movie realize how deep her psychopathy is when she causes the other lady, who's a star of the show, to fall so that she could take her position. She purposely makes the other lady fall so that she could rise to power. And it shows basically the extent in which psychopaths will go to get their wishes. And it also kind of symbolically represents what it takes to be a success and the type of people that usually climb to the top of success, which are actually psychopathic persons. People who hate being in submissive or compliant positions and will do anything, be cunning, ruthless, or even superficially charming, or have sex and seduce people to gain higher status in the hierarchy and position. I could talk about this film for many reasons and many hours, but I'll leave it at this so that it's easier to digest. Naomi in the Showgirls movie is a prime example of functional psychopathy, semi-functional psychopathy. It's really not functional because in the end she still has to leave and keeps wandering. And even her background in the movie, describing what happened to her parents, how her dad basically killed her mom and killed himself or something like that, just shows the root of her detachment from civilization, relationships, and occupations. That is the end of my rant for this subject. It's still a great movie. Thanks for watching this episode of The Kenny Show. And I also have one other point to include on Naomi's psychopathy. Remember at the beginning of the movie when she was hitchhiking? She pulled a knife on the man driving. And she even controlled him and made him change the radio station from Garth Brooks to what she preferred listening to. This is prime psychopathic behavior. It's really not cool. And even at the end of the movie, she gets in the same guy's cars again and pulls a knife on him. This is a prime example and psychopathic person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that don't make her a psychopath, I don't know what does. You know what I'm saying? And what else? Just the fact that she's even willing to get in random cars and is fearless enough to just hop on the road and get in random people's cars is an actual manifestation of psychopathy. It's utter fearlessness and reckless disregard for their safety and even other people's safety. This was a very cool movie. Naomi, although a psychopath, is a cool character to me. And I feel like they could make a sequel to this, actually. And I hope they do. They can make a Showgirls 2 and have the continuing exploits of Naomi and what she's doing now and how her path of psychopathy is affecting people, basically, in our current day and age. And it'll be a great movie to represent women's rage against the patriarchy. And thanks for watching this episode of The Kenny Show. See you next time. Joy, peace.